Hi everyone, here is a support video for this week. I just wanted to point out a few things that I also have here. One of them is you'll see these Cal TPAs, getting to know your students. I just thought if you're interested that I would share with you what the expectation, wow, that's a lot. The expectation of the Cal TPAs were for getting to know your students, and you can see how it really aligns with what we're doing in here. So, looking at the assets and needs, so strengths and needs. They ask you about the cultural and linguistic resources and funds of knowledge that you're using, prior experiences and interests. If the students are qualify for any sort of services, and language, of course. And then really kind of breaking down their reading, writing, speaking, listening in English, academic knowledge, social identity, cultural and linguistic resources and funds of knowledge, prior experiences, developmental concerns or considerations. So you can see that this is something that you're going to be continued to ask or to gather information on as you move through your program. This is just kind of a first little test to it. So these are two of the Cal TPA documents for that. All right, this is where I'm going to put the video and of course the link to last night's PowerPoint. And so I'm just going to go to the PowerPoint really quickly. I forgot to mention to you, I do have a slide in there about recycling. I'm on the sustainability committee, and so we like to try to just remind people what is recyclable and what isn't. And so then we put each other in groups. If for some reason you weren't there last night, that you can figure out who your group is. We talked about our self-study and what it means to become a teacher detective. We talked about the crisis, the cycle of crisis, and how you correspond with interventions. And so, you can see with the trigger, look for the physiological signs, escalation, interrupt, facilitate redirection or relaxation. The crisis phase, they're not able to process information, you can't teach. Interrupt and protect. Phase 4 is begin recovery. So you can regain, or the student can gain control, but they can also re-escalate at this time. It's difficult to teach at this time because they're not quite at the stage where they can bring more information in. This is when you really want to work on the relaxation, and you don't want to reintroduce the antecedent, so whatever triggered them. And then the recovery phase, being able to process the information and actively reinstate the positive behavior support plan. So how is the student going to get back into the classroom? We talked about the incident reports and the legal piece of identifying and targeting behaviors, defining target behaviors, and what good statements look like. And then we went into the pre-SST, which you were all part of. I did make a change based on your recommendations to the team meeting plan, and I put these boxes in there, which I thought was so nice. So I wish I would have thought of that. Thank you for teaching me this week. Let me see. Then we talked about the schedule analysis. So each one of you will need this for your student, and then you'll do the schedule analysis. So this is over 3 weeks. The next 3 weeks you're going to be gathering this information. And then as a group, you chose one student to write the safety plan for. And so you all will have a copy of that you're going to turn in, but it should be just one copy. So the critical reflection for this week is to watch this video from Jeff Kirchbaum, and then do you agree or disagree with what he's saying? And then how does it relate to your placement and your case study student? And then we also want to get some feedback on how do you like the course so far? Do you have any concerns or suggestions for improvement? And we will try to integrate those into the class. So what's next? Reading the Pariser book, 79 to 98, the Costello, Watchell and Watchell, 21 to 48, and doing the critical reflection number 2. And you can see that is right here. The critical reflection is right here, and it's due 10-4. So you can see that that's where it is placed. The digital portfolio, that's actually in week 5. Did I actually put it in there? Let's just check. Let me see. And I did. So you can see that you don't have access to this until next week, but you will be turning in the all 10 of your added parts to your case study. I'm not sure why the 6 through 15 is over to the side. I can work on that. And then the third thing will be in week 6 folder. That's where you're going to turn in the meeting minutes, the schedule analysis, and the Form 1B, which is the safety plan. So I'll just put that in there so that it's clear. Safety plan, and that's the group safety plan. And the meeting minutes for your case study student, and the schedule analysis for your case study student. And it's more about just bringing that data. 2 things that we wanted to let you know of. This Saturday, we're having the Saturday morning seminar from 8:15 to 12:15, and Professor Pariser sent around a little reminder and sign-up sheet for that. And then I also wanted to point out, and I have the link here, but I also have the link, in the weekly module. Here we go. Right down here. So for those of you who've done your CRSTP, you can actually go to this article with some video, so it's actually pretty good. And this is from a professor that used to work at USD, Mindy Ahrens, and she went through and talked about how they did this video project to help their students develop greater self-awareness and empathy for peers. And that's what the CRSTP can do too. So I really like some of the videos. So there's Tanner's video and Cricky's video, and this is just on the teacher's experience and everything. So it was powerful going through and reading this and seeing what some kids are doing. And these are the types of extension activities once the student starts identifying some of the pieces to who they are through something like the CRSTP. This can be a nice little, hey, let's go a little bit further. The other thing I wanted to just go through on here is exactly what's expected. So if for some reason, everybody who has a student should have been able to fill out all 7 of these sections. If you didn't have a student, then you're really going to focus on the additional information needed and then the interventions that are implemented, but definitely the additional information needed, which will be the strengths, the areas of concern, the interventions tried, and getting all that information, so from the review of records and the case study and the CRSTP. So if you don't have a student, then that's what you're going to focus on. If you do have a student, then you're really looking at trying to get as much of the 3 weeks of your intervention and your progress monitoring completed as possible. So, please let us know if you have any questions around that. And then when we get back together, we're going to do the reviewing additional information. We're going to look at the progress monitoring using the schedule analysis. And then we're also going to talk about fidelity of intervention. So how well were the interventions done exactly? Because that's sometimes the hardest thing, especially when kids are moving from class to class. So I think that's it. Did I have anything in here? Yeah, so we just made it through week 4. Next week is week 5, where we're doing engaging students. Oh, that's what I was going to mention. So on the 18th, we're going to be doing this gathering data in class. So if you do want to go ahead and review page 73 to 120, you can see that that's also the homework assignment for that week, but we're going to try to get it done in class. So if you're one of those people that wants to prepare ahead of time, then going through and reading through the Bambara book all the way to 120 by the 18th would be really useful. But you're having other work too, so figure out what works for you. I just wanted to make you aware of that, because I know sometimes people get to class and are like, why didn't you give us this before? And so I'm just kind of giving it to you beforehand. But you have that there, and like I said, we're just here to support you. If you have any questions this week, let us know. Have a great weekend.